So guys, here is the senator who is checkmating Wike. We all know that Wike said he's working for Tinubu. He's just there to please Tinubu as the FCT minister. But here is the senator who is equally there to work for the people. She believes that government is just about the people, serving the people, and not just a particular person. Yes, it's good to please the president, but at least whatever you are doing should be in line with what the people expect from you as the FCT minister. Take a look at this.
A priority. If we can spend, if we will go and spend 40 billion naira starting a project, then midway we'll come back to abandon that is not a priority. That is not correct.
Well, that's delicious, marvelous fuss there. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the senator representing the Federal Capital Territory of Abuja under the Labour Party, Senator Ireti Kingibe. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I know you've had a long day, so we appreciate your coming in. And we just saw you in action there oversighting the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike. How much of a challenge is that for you? Because he's known to be quite a bullish character, isn't he?
Well, so far I've found him to be quite gentle. I mean, that's what he believes in. You have to understand that, as I keep saying, he wasn't elected by the people. He's accountable only to the president. Whereas for me, it's not that way. That's number one. Two, we don't know each other very well. We've met once, maybe twice. In fact, I think the only time we met was at that encounter when he came to get his supplemental.
So in case you don't know, Wike has boasted that he's there to give Tinubu signature projects to go home with. Yes, it's good to do those things, but we all know the state of things in Nigeria. We all know that people are going through a lot, and since Wike came into office, I mean, the suffering of the poor masses have doubled in Abuja, and so many people have come out to condemn that. And don't forget that yesterday there was even a protest in Abuja where people were saying that Wike should resign because they don't need people of character like him, to be the FCT minister. So this senator is saying that Wike is focusing on projects that are not going to alleviate the suffering of Nigerians currently, that he should rather focus on projects that can, have immediate effect on the lives of the masses. Can you imagine the Federal Capital Territory does not even have good drinking water? And to worsen the situation, there is a whole lot of security challenges, currently in Abuja. I mean, people are being easily kidnapped, not just in the village areas, but inside the city, even close to some embassies. Abuja is no longer safe. So many people are like, pay attention to the cry of the people, not just to erect, buildings and structures that you just want to use to satisfy somebody in the name of signature projects, which may not really have any impact, immediate impact on the lives of the people. So let me allow you listen to what this senator has got to say. She has got a lot of points to make, and just to convince Nigerians that some of the things Wike is doing, although he just wants to please Tinubu, but those projects, his policies are not people friendly. Listen.
Budget passed. But actually, I think that once we understand each other better, that we can actually work well together, with him focusing on just what he thinks the president wants, and me working with the people, which also works for the president, because the president was also elected by the people. So I am looking forward to working with him, and let's see how things progress. Maybe his what's his word I'm looking for, gumption as opposed to bullishness, might have its uses as we go along, because some of the things that need doing, even for the people, needs a bold minister.
But it also needs a bold senator.
Well, I try to do my best.
Yeah, well, I mean, you told Mr. Wike, without banging on about this, you told him in no uncertain terms that you think his priorities are not people friendly. You cited the question of the buses, for instance, and the mass transit scheme for Abuja. You also criticized the idea of constructing a Millennium and cultural Center. What are the issues there for you?
Well, I think to complete that Millennium Center would cost us 72 billion. I think that was about the number he told us. Insecurity is a major challenge in the FCT. I think a lot of resources needs to be channeled there. Right now, people are getting kidnapped in Asokoro, Maitama, across the road, not too far from where the embassies are, and even from where I live. It's not just in the outskirts of Abuja anymore. That's number one. So until we all feel secure, everything else doesn't make sense. Abuja also has a problem with water, light, healthcare, schools. And so I think that 72 billion will go a long way to getting some of those people problems ameliorated.
Yeah, that's a good point, and a lot of people might agree with that. Although he argued that you can't allow projects that have already been awarded by previous governments and billions spent on them to be abandoned. But with regard to mass transit, for example,
I'm not wanting him to abandon it.
Right.
I agree with him. He does have a point. We already started building it. I just think that we can postpone the completion.
Or spread it out over a longer period.
So when we are stronger and more liquid as a nation, then we can do those things. I mean, a cultural center is a laudable idea, really, but we have more pressing issues.
Yes, and with regard to mass transit, he agreed with you
yes, he did.
About concessioning and public-private partnership and all the rest of it, but he felt that should be in the medium term. In the short term, he felt that the government had to do something to alleviate the suffering of the masses by providing buses that would later become part of that concessioning.
And I agreed with him completely on that. He wants to solve an immediate problem of zero public transportation. And I saw his point. If he can fix the buses and add a few more and get people moving around until we can do something permanent, then fine. I didn't argue with him on that one anymore.
Now,
Wike still does not know that Abuja is not Rivers State. Abuja is not Rivers State. You have to come up with policies that will help people. You first give people what they want before you start talking of pleasing your master. I mean the person of Tinubu. That is just it. So I'm happy that this woman is there to challenge some of the things he's doing in Abuja that she thinks do not really, encourage people or does not support people. And that is exactly what she's doing. She's a very strong opposition. Thanks to God, she's from the Labour Party. And apart from that, this woman is also committed in using some parts of her salaries, to help the poor in Abuja, and that should be commended. Let me allow you listen to her speak further.
The elections, you reportedly pledged your basic salary, if you should win, to a special fund to tackle infrastructural deficits in the rural communities within Abuja. Is your salary still going to that fund? If so, what difference has that fund made, or is it proposing to make?
Well, people are under the misconception that a senator earns the basic salary of a senator is a lot. Really is not as much, but so far, I've been a senator. In the next week or two, it would be maybe 6 months. Because there's such intense poverty out there, a lot of it goes for palliatives. Oh, I have no food, I need to do this. So a lot of that goes there. But that notwithstanding, I'm in the process of trying to buy a rig so that some of those infrastructural processes you're talking about, I'm looking to see if in partnership with some donor agencies, I can get a grader so that some short rural roads, it would make a little bit of a difference. So yes, it's not, I leave the bigger ones to the minister to do in terms of infrastructure. I'm just trying to do the little ones that would make a difference. For instance, yesterday they brought to my attention certain things, like there are many manual boreholes especially in Abuja South, that they're there, but they're not working because they just need a little fixing. 100,000 naira here, 200,000 naira there, and several of them would work. Of course, the water board of Kwali that's not working, that is one of the things I'm hoping to discuss with him and see if he can get the water board working, because if he did, it means the whole of Kwali town would then benefit from it. So you're trying to see the kind of cooperation. I'm hoping that.
So basically you guys have to be on the best of terms.
No, I think eventually we would be.
Right.
I'm hoping that we would be.
But I mean, you were talking about the salary, which you said is not as big as people think it is. I mean, I guess people think of the whole package, which includes the allowances that you also get. So you keep the allowances, but you give up the salary.
No, mostly, even with my allowances, some of them, it comes to like, I would say 1.4 million or something. People are looking at maybe running costs for the senatorial offices, things like that. Maybe that's what they think is what the senator earns. But what the senator actually earns, you will see today some woman will come to you crying she can't afford her diabetic drugs. This one 50k here, 100k here, 200k here, 500k there.
Before you know it, it's all
gone.
Yeah. Well, what about the SUVs that the National Assembly... You knew I had to come to that, didn't you? The SUVs that the National Assembly is giving to lawmakers at a cost of... Because here you are complaining about the Millennium Center, that is, that they're going to spend 72 billion, but those SUVs are going to cost billions of naira as well. I mean, do you agree with that expense, and are you going to collect yours?
Well, the Senate says that they're utility cars. They don't belong to us. They actually belong to the Senate. That's number one. Number two, I think...
But it's still a lot of money, isn't it?
Yes, but they were already bought before we became senators. That's the truth. When I was on channels the other day, I did say that...
Right.
I think that going forward, maybe this 10th Senate might opt to buy cheaper cars or cars made in Nigeria or whatever, I don't know. But you can hold us responsible for the cars that the 11th Assembly rides. But the one from this that we got were purchased and sorted out by the 9th Assembly.
Right, so it had already been purchased, because the impression that everyone had was that it was coming up.
That's not true. They had already been purchased. And the only thing that's being done is they're being distributed.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is that I suppose more attention is being paid to these things because the people as a nation I wouldn't say we're poorer, not really, but the bulk of the people are poorer. And so they pay more attention to these things. But every National Assembly has always provided utility cars for the senators, just like ministries. I think that actually the cars that are provided for ministers, if it's true that they buy 4 cars per minister, too many cars. So some things can be cut down. And even if you don't cut them down, let our auto industry grow.
Yeah, obviously.
By virtue
I mean,
of
that makes sense. That's what people are saying. If you're going to buy cars, buy the ones that are made in Nigeria.
I agree with you totally on that score.
What lessons have you drawn so far? I mean, from your experience as a senator of the Federal Capital Territory of Abuja. You've been in the job now for 6 months, you said.
Well, the first lesson I've learned is that when you're on the outside, it's easy to criticize the people on the inside. Things are not as easy to do when you're actually the one trying to do it. That's the first lesson that I've learned. So it's no matter how much good intentions you have, you have to work with the whole system.
Yeah.
So it's not just one part of the governance of the country, it's everything. So that's one of the lessons I've learned. The other lesson I've also learned is that when you're outside, they tell you senators don't do anything. They're just idle people. That's not true. As a new senator, I'm sure I'll get settled down and know how to manage my time and everything. But I find that I work all the time and I'm constantly tired, and senators do a lot of work.
And in fairness to what you're saying, you're coming straight from a committee meeting where basically you've been there all day.
Yes, I have.
And you've come to the studio straight in.
And I wasn't alone. There were lots of senators who were there going from one committee meeting to read a lot of stuff, write a lot of things. So, and I said to somebody, why did you tell me the senators are idle people that don't do anything? They're overworked.
But you look like you're having fun, though.
Well, it's interesting, and I'm hopeful that out of all that hard work will come the satisfaction of changing and impacting positively on the lives of the people of FCT specifically and Nigerians generally.
And is it difficult being a member of the opposition in the National Assembly for you?
Not really. The truth is that once you are in the chambers, the only way I really notice that I'm in opposition is just the side of the house that you're sitting on. There's a lot of camaraderie between us all, and no, it impacts very, very little. Maybe slightly in terms of what committees you are given, but not really. Not really. I find that after a while, your party only matters to you and your party members. It doesn't feature greatly within the Senate.
And now that you are in government, albeit the legislative arm, and you have the task of oversighting the executive arm, I mean, are you getting a better sense of how dysfunctional government in this country is?
Very, yes, I am. You think, oh, just let me get there and I'm going to fix everything. It's not so simple. I'm sure that even the president, when he was getting, when he was running and thinking, oh, I want to be president of Nigeria so I can fix everything, he's probably just as shocked as I am that, oh no, it's not as fixable as I thought. And that runs through all arms of government. So, I mean, I can't speak for the judiciary, but I think both the executive and the legislative arm, it's a bit difficult.
So how much more challenging does that realization make your job of trying to move things in a more positive and productive direction? Because in a sense, we followed your evolution from running for Senate into becoming a senator-elect and then actually a senator. You see what I mean? And I'm wondering what you've sort of how much more challenging things have been.
I'm a very tenacious person. All I do as I hit a challenge, then I just recalibrate. Okay, how do I get around this? What do I do? But I still believe that the 4 years I will impact positively on the lives of FCT people, even if it's just in terms of some of the bills. FCT has a lot of unpassed bills and laws. So a lot of things are not backed by anything legal. So even if that's just the thing I achieve by making sure that, as I call them, housekeeping bills, that they get passed, a nursing school that's operating without any legal backing, health services, or health insurance scheme that does not have a board or an agency, little things like that, then it would have still been worthwhile.
So what are your priorities? I mean, what would you say? I mean, do you sort of get up in the morning and think, okay, these are the things that must be achieved today, short term, but these are the longer term things that I'm aiming to really deliver?
Okay, I'll tell you what those are. Apart from my legislative duties, where I've just told you the things I hope to do, the other thing that I hope to do as a senator is that I hope to work with the 3 other women in the Senate, as well as most of the men in the Senate, because I do find that, I don't know about the 9th Assembly, there are 18 new senators, that this particular Senate is quite gender friendly, and I'm hopeful that we can pass a gender affirmative action bill. Number 1. Number 2, FCT, because of the way it is, I feel that if I can work closely with the minister, because I know the terrain. For instance, these little boreholes I'm talking about, probably something that a million naira can fix. So also there are little things that make a big difference to the people. That I know. I have some development programs that one of them is I Go Chop with Ireti, which I'm trying to get people to partner with me. And when I say people, I don't mean necessarily international organizations, local ones, to see how we can feed people who are underprivileged. And then the other thing, that I'm doing, I'm trying to call for marshals. Marshals are young people in each ward who take up, you pick 3 things that you want to work with the senator on. It can be, you want to be an orange marshal, gender-based violence, you want to work on health, partnering with some, I found 1 or 2 hospitals in town that are willing to work with me on that. So having health wallets, things for malaria, small things, but with big impact for people who don't have anything. And there are lots of people who don't have anything. And even the rig, when I get it, I'm hoping to still use the marshals in each ward to drill the boreholes.
Yes, when we say senators from the Labour Party are different, honestly, they are different. This woman is really, impacting people's lives in Abuja. Honestly, look at the project she has at hand, and she's doing it from her pocket. But we have some of these as senators who have not even visited home for a long time. They are just in Abuja. All the money they are supposed to use in impacting the lives of the people in their constituency, they are not doing all that. But you can see how far this woman has gone. Honestly, we need to say a very big thank you to people like this who really know that and understand that some Nigerians are really poor and do not even have anybody to help them out. Kudos to her, and we want to see more of all this from other Labour Party senators and House of Rep members.
I find that because this is Nigeria, I mean, you're a well-traveled person, you worked abroad, you lived in the United States and that sort of thing, that because this is Nigeria, the nature of the work that you have to do as a senator goes beyond what the original remit ought to be.
Yes, most definitely. I expected that as a senator, I'm a legislator, but it's not so simple. People are hungry. You are the representative, and in Abuja, remember that I'm the highest elective office. We don't have a governor who can go and say, okay, here. So I will, National State Assembly pass this so that we can do this, that will alleviate things for the people. So everything that bothers them, they come to me, and like sometimes I feel like saying, I'm a legislator. I'm not supposed to give you, have enough money for feeding a lot of people, money for hospital for everybody, this, that, everything. And that for me was
a lot of pressure. Isn't
it? Extremely. And I was a little overwhelmed at how much everybody wants to pull you. I need this, I need that, I need that. I sometimes feel like a mother with thousands of children who are all really needy.
Yeah, that would be a problem, wouldn't it?
Yes, but that is the Nigerian style of governance. Things are not as separated as it is in other countries. And I'm sure every senator goes through it. I go through it more because the National Assembly is in my constituency. Right. For the other senators, people have to come from somewhere else
to come to them.
To them, but
so they can stroll into your office.
Yes,
basically.
Mine is a drop away, and so I get inundated with people in my office.
I can imagine. But you look.
So guys, don't you think we need more people like this in government? Honestly, imagine this woman becoming the president of Nigeria tomorrow. Honestly, she's really going to impact people's lives. If she can just be making use of the little she's getting now, to make sure she affects lives positively, she gives people money to take care of themselves and do 1 or 2 things, start little businesses and all that. So if she can be doing this at this level, having her as a president or even a vice president, I think is going to go a long way to, help so many Nigerians out from their poor conditions today. And I'm so happy that she's a partner to Peter Obi, and she is also a part and parcel of the obedience movement as we all look forward to a new Nigeria. Let's not allow this dream to die. Let's keep fighting. Let's stand strong. Peter Obi once told us that don't expect the change to be automatic. That it's not going to be immediate. It's not going to happen happen just sharp the way we all want it. It's going to be a gradual thing because we know that the level of the rot in the system is huge. So it's not something you can just cleanse up at a time. It has to do with determination, that even if you don't see your result today, you still believe that the result is going to come tomorrow. So we just need to keep fighting. Let's not allow this dream to die, because a new Nigeria is possible. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notification bell for more updates. Thank you and God bless you. Bye.